Only 10 to 30% of currency trades support a commercial transaction by businesses. So there are many influences upon FX rates, which thereby creates currency volatility. The interest rates of the two countries or currencies involved in the FX transaction are a key component of exchange rates. Events such as elections, political unrest and conflict can also create uncertainty about future economic policies and outlook. And this can actually affect the economic fundamentals of the country, impacting the exchange rate. High inflation could suggest further increases in interest rates. This could lead to a gain or a rise in the value of a currency, for example, as investors buy the currency in order to get a better return on their funds. Changes in the prices of equities, assets, bonds and commodities will also have an effect on exchange rates. Gold and oil are priced in US dollars, which means investors have to purchase US dollars in order to buy these commodities. These commodity currencies are more sensitive to changes in commodity prices than perhaps other currencies are. Low unemployment suggests an economy is performing well and there is demand for products. But very low unemployment leads to wage-based inflationary pressures and the need for higher interest rates, which in turn could lead to higher currency values. And market sentiment, sometimes called investor sentiment. This is an investor's attitude towards a particular financial market. It's the feeling or tone of a market or its crowd psychology as revealed through the activity and price movements of the securities traded in that market. Some analysts have published a range of possibilities for the strength of sterling over the course of the next 12 months against the euro, with a range between 1.52 and 1.22. So what impact would this range have on a client's budget rate or its profitability? This is why businesses should manage their currency exposures. Managing currency risk can also provide additional benefits, including protection for your cash flow and profit margins, improved financial forecasting and budgeting, help to manage the balance sheet, and increased borrowing capacity. Not managing a currency exposure can mean that what starts as a great business opportunity can become a loss-making venture. There are three main types of currency risk. There's transaction risk. This arises when a commercial transaction is made which involves the exchange of one currency or another. There's translation risk. This arises when a customer has assets or liabilities, such as debtors or an overseas factory, in different currencies, which from time to time have to be expressed in sterling for accounting purposes. And then finally, there's economic risk. This is the change in the competitive strength of imports and exports. For example, the customer or a business is exporting from the UK to the EU and the euro weakens from 1.1 against the pound to 1.3, so the exporter is getting more euros per pound. Any exports from the UK will be more expensive when priced in euros. So goods where the UK price is £100 will cost 130 euros instead of 110 euros, making those goods less competitive in the European market. By knowing your budget rates and taking action to deliver those, businesses can be confident that they remain competitive and profitable. Small businesses have a number of choices that they can make to help manage their exposure to currency volatility. They can do nothing. Here, the business either fails to recognise that they have an exposure, or if they recognise it, they are unaware what they can do or how an organisation or a bank can help them. They can actively do nothing. Businesses recognise their exchange risk and what they can do to mitigate it, but have decided not to take action. There's matching. This helps a business to match their incomings and outgoings in a particular currency, thereby significantly reducing the overall exposure to movements. This is usually done by using a currency account. This is useful if the customer has payables and receivables in the same currency. Or a business can use more complex hedging services, such as forward exchange contracts or options. These complex products can give businesses differing levels of protection from negative moves in the FX rates and sometimes the ability to participate in positive movements. The more prescriptive the contract is, the greater the protection against adverse movement, and also likely the cheaper is the product. So a forward contract is a binding agreement to sell or buy an agreed amount of currency at a specified time in the future at an agreed exchange rate. Whilst an option will give the holder the right but not the obligation to buy or sell a given amount of currency at a fixed exchange rate in the future. These services can be tailored to increase or reduce the level of flexibility depending on a business's needs. There are other, more sophisticated tools that larger businesses and corporates may use to manage their currency exposures. But whatever service that a business uses from their bank or financial services provider, the choice should be based upon a clear strategy for the business that allows them to have confidence in their finances.